It's not even from your driving. The Hemp House has a variety of products for dogs as well. Visit hemphousechat.com for more information.
We hope that you pay very close attention to this next conversation, because chances are in your personal life you either know someone or have a friend who knows someone who might even be currently struggling with a colon cancer diagnosis. And the sad thing about those diagnoses is that so often they could be prevented if we would just get screened in time. So we're going to get you feeling empowered and calling your doctor this morning. Dr. Shauna Lorenzo has been the face of this Rump Run, now in its 12th year, for a long time. So she is smiling proudly here along with Harry Reeves, who, look at him, and yet he had a diagnosis just this past November, looking fantastic. So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
I want to start with you, Dr. Lorenzo, because you must be very proud of Harry.
Absolutely.
I can't believe he had this diagnosis in November, and he, in telling his story to me, it sounds like the outcome could have gone one of two ways.
Well, I think a lot of people are afraid. And so the message we want to get is rules have changed for colonoscopy. It used to be age 50. And we knew that African Americans, most of them have a mutation in a gene that's called a proto-oncogene. It means it turns cancer genes on, or it can turn cancer genes off. And so for that reason, for colon cancer, they were at higher risk. So we knew we should start screening at age 45. But now the rules have changed for everybody. And all you have to remember is when you turn 45 is when you get your colonoscopy. Okay. But then once you have the colonoscopy, the point is to catch a polyp, because it's easy to remove. It's sort of like cherry picking. You know, you just remove the polyp and life goes on, and then you get your next screening colonoscopy.
Right.
But God forbid that it is a cancer, then there are other ways to remove it. And so it may require surgery, as in Mr. Reeves' case, or it may require chemo and radiation as well, depending on where the cancer is.
I mentioned that the Rump Run is in its 12th year. You did take a 2-year hiatus.
Yes, ma'am.
Because of COVID, but I remember those early days. Y'all kind of began coming on when 3+U hit the air, and it was a little awkward to have the conversation. Those days are over. People do not mind talking about it anymore, do they?
Well, that's the whole point. I mean, thank goodness, because if you don't talk about it, colon cancer is treatable, it's beatable, but the important part is it is preventable, but it's not preventable if you don't know. So the whole point is to let people know that we all, if you have a colon, it doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, what race you are, it doesn't matter.
And we all have one.
If you have a colon, then you need a colonoscopy at age 45. But I will say in Chattanooga specifically, and this is why it's near and dear to my heart, is our rates of colon cancer are higher than other places in the United States.
Because we don't get screened?
Correct.
Okay.
So you gotta get screened. Now we have different ways of doing that. We like the colonoscopy because if you find a polyp, we can remove the polyp, and therefore we prevent the colon cancer. But you may have heard of Cologuard or these other DNA tests, which those are good, but if you find a positive, you still have to do the colonoscopy.
Right.
So we just want to make sure people get screened.
So Harry, you were in that camp, right? Of people kind of putting it off and thinking, nah, I don't want to go down this road?
Yes, I was in that camp. I was diagnosed on November 9th, and my surgery was scheduled for December the 20th. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I know now the importance of the colonoscopy and also the preventative care that's necessary. And so I'm here this morning just to share and let people know that we need to do this, and the preventative care is a must, and particularly in my community.
In your case, as you were sharing your story with me, it was not a polyp that they found, it was a mass the size of a grapefruit, you said.
That's true. That's true. It was.
Do you remember what it was like for you to hear those words being said to you? You must have been very frightful.
Yes. I'm no stranger to cancer, but when you hear it for yourself, it touches home. And it did with me. And taking into consideration, I'm one of the oldest in my family line, and my mom died of cancer, also my grandma. And so I realized the importance of the early detection, but also the importance of regular family care with your physician. So yes, it was an eye-opener.
There are probably a lot of people like me looking at you thinking, I can't believe it was just 4 months ago that he had this pretty dire diagnosis. Was your treatment easier than you thought it was going to be?
Actually, I was more fatigued, tiring. I noticed that my body changed. I noticed that, but it was gradual. And so in that way, I kind of put things off. I shouldn't have put it on the shelf as I did. But after the infusions from my physician and also the support from other medical staff, after the surgery, I've noticed that I'm beginning to get my strength back again. And I'm noticing do a lot of things. And so I'm just very thankful. And that's why I'm here today, to not only to support the colon screenings and the preventative care, also colonoscopies, but also the run that's going to be upcoming as well.
I do want to talk about that run, but I have one last question for you. Maybe,
Sure.
if you're lucky, one last question. Were you aware of what Dr. Lorenzo shared with us about in the African American community, that gene that can turn on and off?
Yes.
You knew about that?
Well, she informed me. I remember going into her office and after all the information was compiled.
But prior to meeting her, did you know about it?
No, I didn't.
I mean, that's shocking to me.
Yeah.
Do a lot of people know about that?
So we have to educate people, and in this day and age, we are so fortunate because now we have genetics on our side. So for example, Mr. Reeves has a whole family. So now that he has been diagnosed with a colon cancer,
Right.
we can test his colon cancer for the gene that caused that. And that means all the other people who are related to him just to have their blood tested to see, do they have the gene? And then we know we need to screen you more often, or in some cases, there are some very specific genetic disorders where we know you're gonna get cancer by a certain age, so we do the operation preventatively.
Wow.
So now is a wonderful time that finally we can do things like that and prevent something because we know it's gonna happen, or test a family and make sure that all the members know. And so I really feel like he's an ambassador. He's gonna let everybody know so we can take care of them.
I bet Thanksgiving dinners at his house have taken on a whole new
I'm
meaning.
sure they will be.
So he mentioned the Rump Run. Let's
Yes.
get people there. It's March 26th at Enterprise
ma'am.
South. Registration still up and running?
Yes, so if you would like to register now, which I encourage you to do because we have a fabulous t-shirt, but you would register at rumprun.com. We also have plenty of room for volunteers. We love volunteers, so if you don't feel like running, you have two options. You can volunteer with us, or you can walk. So especially our survivors, we like to encourage them to do the run is the 5K, starts at 9 a.m., but at 9:05 we will have a 1 mile walk.
Okay.
And that's for absolutely everybody. If you are a survivor, you get a free t-shirt if you register with us, and we have the best selfie booth you've ever seen where you get to have a toilet seat around your neck. And in Mr. Reeves' case, it will say survivor on his.
That is fantastic. Was that your idea?
I have to say yes.
I remember the first time we met her, and we knew right away that you were A, a rock star, and B, you were going to be unstoppable. So leave it to you to find the fun.
I've had lots of help, which I am so appreciative for. Thank you.
So you can always find her. She's with University Surgical Associates. Her biggest hope is that you won't need to find her. Go to your primary care doctor and get that screening. 45 years old now.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the magic number. If you go to rumprun.com, though, you can go ahead and register for this year's event back in person at Enterprise South. Again, registration begins that morning at 7:30. 9 o'clock begins the exercise portion, and you'll be glad to take part. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You look great, Harry Reeves.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks for having us.
Another round? If you're buying.
Jack's new Southern Barbecue Pub Burger. 2 juicy patties topped with melty cheese, crispy bacon, French fried onions, and tangy barbecue sauce. Jack's, all about the South.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, that moment when we see a patient smile is everything to us. So whether it's a single tooth, full dentures, or dental implants, we're here to help you. Go ahead and smile.
Go ahead and smile. Go ahead and smile. Go ahead and smile.
When cleaning your air ducts, it's important to clean the entire system. An air duct cleaning from Stanley Steamer removes pounds of trapped dirt,